Now, Good Morning Orlando again probes the mysterious world of the millennials to reveal how and what young America thinks. It's another spine-tingling journey into Yaffee World.
Yes, Bud, and listeners out there, and this spine-tingling journey is kind of upsetting to me this morning, Bud.
It's upsetting to me as well. I said, Yaffee, get on this and tell me what's going on this free speech issue.
I have to admit, I was not happy to read this. And, well, this is what it says. A new Pew Research Center poll shows that 40% of American millennials, ages 18 to 34.
That's the Yaffee generation.
Exactly. Are likely to support government prevention of public statements offensive to minorities.
They're okay with suppressing the First Amendment right to free speech. That is alarming.
Exactly. And exactly what you said. That is suppressing free speech. Now, this is especially alarming because around 20, it's a lot more with my generation.
It is.
With the Yaffee generation.
And it's interesting, when you go through the Pew study, and you can give us chapter and verse on this by different groups of Americans here, it diminishes. The older you are, the less willing you are to part with any of your First Amendment free speech rights.
Well, exactly. Around 27% of Generation Xers, 35 to 50, support the idea, and then it goes down to 24% of baby boomers, and then only 12% of the silent generation, which is 70 to 87, would support such an idea. And so I guess as the spokesman of the Yaffee generation, I'm supposed to make sense of this craziness.
Hey, listen, you're at the controls. You're driving the bus on every Yaffee World segment
Exactly.
here. What is going on here? Because it's your generation that's going to take the reins of power in this country for better or for worse. And when I find out that you are more willing as a group, your generation, to throw free speech overboard, I've got a real concern about the future of this country. What's going on here in your view?
Well, I think it's two things. The first thing is pretty obvious to most people. When you're raised in a politically correct world, since birth, since kindergarten, you're told to be politically correct. You're told that some speech should not be allowed. This is going to be the obvious effect. But I still smell a rat here, Bud.
Really?
I still think there's something else to this to get to that number 40%.
Well, you spend a lot more time with people in the Yaffee generation than I do, or that most people who are from a different demographic here. And it sounds like, the vibes you're getting from the people in your generation don't jive with the findings of the Pew Research report that so many in the Yaffee generation, 40%, are okay with suppressing free speech.
Exactly. And here's what it is. I think a lot of people in my generation that were polled were afraid to say, no to suppressing free speech. They were afraid to say it because they don't want to be labeled as a racist. So they don't really believe that. They just don't want to say they don't believe that. Because think about it. What is the biggest insult you can give to someone in all of this country right now? Is calling them a racist.
And it's groups like Black Lives Matter and everything that are saying, listen, on college campuses, whether it's Yale, whether it's Missouri, whatever.
Look at the protests.
Yes, we don't want anybody having a right to say these things and to speak their mind if it has anything that is negative toward minorities. They even want the speech police, in Missouri. I mean, it's outrageous. And you think everybody else is afraid that they're going to be tarred with the racist label.
Well, I mean, look what happens. Anyone who is said to be a racist in our culture today is basically tarred and feathered. Like the former owner of the Clippers, Barbie. All they have to do is make a racist comment sometime in the past, and they're considered racist. So they're just totally afraid.
So there is some hope that the stats from the Pew Research Center are skewed for the reasons you've cited.
Right. And I will say this. Here in at least Yaffee World, I will not support the suppression of free speech ever.
Join us next time for another illuminating journey into the mind of the millennials in Yaffee World.